Olympic Games. So if you look at the page number 3, you can see number 4, summary of anti-doping procedures for Sochi 2014. Very similar to what I explained. However, this is more accurate in terms of their languages and terminologies. 1, notifications. So it should be based on random sampling, random sample selection. So it cannot be targeting, right? Cannot be targeting some athlete. And also number 2, identification formalities. So you need to provide your ID card, identification, credentials, and to make sure you are the specific athlete that providing urine sample or blood sample, you need to bring chaperone. Chaperone is a 보호자, chaperone. So if you need to get your urine sample, I mean, if you get a urine sample at the hospital, nobody follows you. But the athletic competition, chaperone will guide you. And then for men's case, what do? They're going to stand, they're going to watch you back, behind your back, and getting your urine sample. What about the female? The female chaperone cannot be in the same bathroom with a female athlete. So what do we have to do? So they have to hear the kind of a order. They have to hear, how do you say, supervision by the audio. Okay, audio supervision. So they are standing by outside the bathroom or stock, but they have to hear clearly. I mean, she actually getting her urine sample in the bathroom stall. And the urine samples and blood samples. So once again, if sometimes you need to provide blood sample because they're going to screen, they're going to identify and examine more in depth for a longer period of time before, pre-competitions. But during the competition, the blood sampling kind of takes more time. So as a backup plan, they prefer to have urine samples, much easier and much quicker and also much cheaper. And doping control form. So the athletes are required to provide the medical form indicating the list of medicines you take before the past 7 days. And the next page is page number 4, laboratory analysis. So you will be given an opportunity to request third-party clinic to have a better decision or a more in-depth decision, which can be believed to have a different decision that the WADA has. Okay, so these are kind of official summary provided by IOC. So if you have an opportunity to work for IOC or NOC, Korean Olympic Committee in the future, then probably you need to keep in mind all the procedures of getting a blood sample or drug samples. Make sense? Okay, and then not the drug testing. So this is religious issues. Is that a problem? I mean, have you ever seen any problem with religion related at the athletic competitions before? But have you ever watched some movie, the prayer before the game, which has been initiated by the coaches? Coaches gather all the athletes and they have some official prayer before the game and in the locker room. Okay, do you think it's okay to do it? Okay, so did you go to a Catholic high school, private high school, or public high school? Okay, so private school is a kind of a differently treated. So do you remember state action? State action, once again, state action. Right? 공무원, 정부기관. So some people say like a state actor. Doesn't matter state action or state actor. So when you apply constitutional law, you need to, the target organization should be state action or state actor. Okay? But if your organization is private, like a private high school or NBA, then do you remember Title 7? Title 7? So no one can be discriminated based on 5 plus 1 factor. Plus 1 is a sexual orientation. Remember? Skin of color, right? Race, sex, national origin, and religion, right? So religion is one of the criteria to protect people based on different religions. And then state actor. So when you apply state actor, then the target organization should be 공무원, public officials or employees, personnel, or anyone who work for the governmental institutions or entities. What about public schools, public elementary schools? Public elementary schools. So I just want to show you this one first. Okay, so this is the First Amendment. 뭐냐면 헌법 제1조 1항. So Congress, this is very important. Congress, we do have the same constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment. I'm going to tell you what it means. A religion or prohibiting free exercise thereof, or abridging freedom of speech or of the press, of the right of people peaceably to assemble. 알죠? 모임의 자유, 표현의 자유, 모임 집회의 자유. It's very similar. And the thing is, the government cannot promote any religion. So this is a rule of separation between governmental entity and religion. So here's another example. So no one public school teachers say Merry Christmas anymore. This is a direct violation of public First Amendment in Constitution. So that's why we say Happy Holidays. Private schools are separate. So Happy Holiday became more popular than Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas is targeting, indicating certain religions. So I ask my sons to make sure if any teacher says Merry Christmas. Kind of personal curiosity. Anyway, so that is I'm going to cover. Okay, so two different things. This is a repetition that we covered before, Title 7. So protected class, race, color, skin of color, sex, national origin, and religion, and plus one more thing, sexual orientation, right? We cover sexual orientation as another protected class. So this is just copy and paste. So based on Title 7, let's take a look at the NBA case. Example of religious practices. Okay, with two questions and discussions. And anyone can read? Choi-Jin-soo, can you read for us? Okay, so according to NBA rules and regulations, only the athlete should stand, right, and respect. All the players, coaches, and athletic trainers to stand in line in a dignified manner. So do show some respect, right, for the United States, which has been indicated and symbolized by national anthem. So if you do something else other than singing and then standing while singing the national anthem, that is one of the direct violation of their policies. So after Ralph, Chris Jackson was in a very difficult situations. According to his Allah, Bible, Quran, he was not supposed to stand and for any nationalistic ideology. So religion comes first than the country. So that's why, you know, IS, Islamic State, so they totally ignoring the national border. They doesn't matter Iraq, Iran, or Syria. So they actually trying to have some gathering, official gathering based on their religions. So anyway, so he refused it. And then NBA, actually team, Denver Nuggets, the general manager, and also the NBA commissioner gave him fine, some suspending him without pay. So what do you think? If you were general manager or coaches and an athletic trainer, you know, whatever the employee working for Denver Nuggets, or maybe working for the headquarters office of NBA, what would you do? Okay, so he violated, obviously, the NBA regulations. And also, he believed, from his perspective, he believed that he was mistreated or discriminated by the notion of Title VII. So that's why he filed a claim. He hired an attorney, and then he filed a claim against Denver Nuggets and NBA. So eventually, he dropped the allegations. However, if he continued to do it, then probably, in my personal opinion, he would have been win, because he wasn't offered any alternative accommodations. He didn't violate any. He didn't commit any crime, right? So this is only for athletic event. He's one of the employee. I mean, as a player, and he violated the policy, internal policy. He doesn't have to serve in prison. However, more importantly, he has a strong belief in Allah. Then he actually respecting his religion over NBA, not the nation, not the United States, over Denver Nuggets and NBA. So finally, he was provided the option whether you can stay in the locker room until the national ceremony anthem was over. Well, you don't have to participate on the ceremony, opening ceremony, because religion says so. He didn't make up. He just explained, okay, this is the Quran, and then I'm the Muslim, so I have to respect my Quran, what the Quran says. And this is a direct violation, direct opposition that my Quran says. So that's totally understandable. So I want you to think about what do you mean by reasonable accommodation for that case. Reasonable accommodation. Yeah. Reasonable accommodation. So I think as long as the Denver Nuggets failed to provide any reasonable accommodation to Chris Jackson, I believe Denver Nuggets probably would have been lost in a court. So they had a compromise, you know, finally. So they, you know, they withdrew the suspension of his playing time without pay. So he was happy and the team happy. So it was successfully managed between team and the Chris Jacksons. Okay, and then second case, the back of the case, back of the handout. So 1999. So who wants to read this for us? Okay, thank you. So I just want to read the rationale. The court found that Johnson's claim alleged that he was profiled as a troublemaker because of the positions he took in college on religious issues and racial pride, and the incident that arose between of this. His complaint further alleged that this profiling resulted in his name being withdrawn by the Atlanta Falcons after they drafted him, and he was a blackboard, causing other NFL teams to abandon interest in him. The court ruled that the complaint did in fact allege that Johnson was denied employment because of a combination of his race and his religions. So race and religion. So two protected classes were applied, and therefore it did state a claim upon which relief could be granted under Title VII. So once again, this is one of the hardest part to convince and to prove that he was discriminated, or he lost the opportunity to be drafted by his religion and his race. However, in this case, that was very clear, right? Clearly evidenced by several occasions. So if it's the case, you need to apply Title VII instead of First Amendment. Okay, once again, NFL is a private institution, for-profit organization, not state action or not state actor. Okay, so NFL and NBA, we cover these cases. So purpose and state actor. So purpose of this First Amendment to protect individual rights against encroachment. Encroachment is a 침해 by the government, federal, state, local, public school system. So when I say state action or state actor, it includes all the federal, I mean in case of United States, federal, state, local, public school system. Also, the Coach Kim, who is a Korean-American head coach of U.S. archery team. He was on newspaper after 2008 Beijing Olympic Games because he forced all the American female. He was a national coach in female national team in the United States of archery. Forced every single archery player to go to church during the Olympic period. In Beijing at the Olympic Villages, 7 a.m. So after the game's over, the players and their parents filed a claim against the Coach Kim. And he had no idea what he was alleged against. So the player actually and the parents explained, hey, you forced us to go to the church every morning, 7 a.m. No matter what, the coach didn't listen to. Just go, types of mentality. So it was a big question. USOC, 미국 올림픽 Training Center, USOC, Team USA, they do not receive any money from the government, interestingly. KOC, we receive money, operating budget from the government. So in Korea, we say, the 태릉 선수촌 training Olympic Training Center can be state action or state actor. However, in the United States, USOC or Olympic Training Center does not receive any fund from the government. So USOC is not state action. So actually that's why they charge any admission fee for tourists. If you want to visit Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, you have to pay for it. And they're making a lot of money by selling the merchandise. And also, they get a lot of sponsorship revenue. So they can operate more than $500 million budget a year without getting any public money. So if it's the case, Coach Kim's case, you have to apply Title VII. You have to apply Title VII. Make sense? Okay. So because of the lawsuit, he lost his job. Coach Kim lost his job. Unfortunately, as Korean, I wasn't very happy. But I had to share the actual article with my student at the time. So state actor. Okay, state actor or state action defendant must be a state actor, governmental defendants. So when I say governmental defendant or governmental organization means where the money coming from. A public university, state university, University of Washington State University is one of the state action. Okay? Anyone, any organization receiving money from the government. So any action taken directly or indirectly by a state, municipal, or federal government, public high schools and colleges and their officials are state actors. So I showed the video. One of the very popular high school football program. This team a loser for a long time, and they hired a new coach, and he tried to build a team as a success. So as one of the rivalry game, and a lot of people believe that this team couldn't win over the championships, and then after game was over, barely, very close game, but this team won, surprisingly. And then after game's over, the coach called in all the players in the locker room, and he initiated. Initiated means he organized, and then he prayed officially. So I showed that video to my student. This is direct violation if it's a public school. But the movie didn't tell it's a private school or public school. So the school itself, also all the employees, staff members, teachers, and coaches, they are treated as state action or state actor. So if any basketball coach at the University of Washington initiated the prayer before the game starts, then that's a direct violation. Okay, so there is some tactics. Organization were smart enough to know how to get away from this lawsuit. Every official organization ceremonies, 졸업식, and then every single football games, they have to do. They want to do it. They promote. But they cannot promote officially because that's a direct violation of First Amendment or Title VII. So they came up with an idea saying, we are looking for student body, student leader, and a church group, kind of 동아리. And then university provide like a 10-minute or so who initiate kind of student initiating official ceremony, then it's okay. But if any coach or teachers, comes up and initiate that violation, so they can let students do. Okay, that's your voluntary participation. We're okay. We don't have to be called up in any law. So there's two things to remember. Same thing we do in Korea. Establishment, separation of religion and the state. We do, right? 뭐죠? 정치와 종교의 분리. Have you heard about it? Right? So separation of religion and the state. And when President Obama mentioned unofficially about protection and promotion of Islamic church in downtown Manhattan, New York, he mentioned that. So some religious leaders actually show their strong opposition, opposition against the Obama's remarks, because it sounds like President Obama promoted the religion of Islam over other religions. So if you say some religion specifically over other religion, you gotta be careful if you are state action. We are private institutions, so I'm very free, to say some religion. Free exercise, individuals' right to choose one or more or no religion. So no enforcement. Religious issue. And then there's a three test. The first one, lemon test. Government practices unconstitutional. 헌법에 어긋나죠? Unconstitutional if, number one, it lacks secular purpose. When you say a religion, specific religion, do you have any purpose, any secular purpose? Any rationale? And then number two, its primary effect either advances or inhibits religion, or it excessively entangles government with religions. So any remarks will make the government or state action unconstitutional. So coercion test. So it is constitutional when government directs. So once again, if teachers direct or initiate, that's the indication of the second test, coercion test. If teachers, right, I have more authority and power than other student, so that's a direct violation. And formal religious exercise, if teachers organize and direct formal religious exercise, more serious, in such a way as to oblige the participation of objectors. Interesting case. For example, in Santa Fe, Supreme Court stated that Santa Fe in a community college, 전문대학교 in state of Florida, the band members, every single sporting event, even high school, colleges, or universities, band members and cheerleaders were asked to attend, to cheer the games, right? Who are required to attend a football game because of their membership in those groups, in fact, are coerced into having to listen to any prayer or message delivered. Once again, Santa Fe community colleges. Community college sponsored by city, right? So this is a state actor operated by taxable money, taxes. So the band members can argue that, oh, we are not athletes, or we don't have to be here when prayer going on. So we deserve the right to get away or leave the spaces for a while until it's done. So this was part of their rationale in striking down prayer before football games. So this is an example of coercion test. And number 3, endorsement test. Endorsement test, unconstitutional if it conveys a message that religion is favored, preferred, or promoted over other belief. Endorsement. So lemon test, coercion test, and endorsement test. So I want you to discriminate between these 3 tests. Yeah. That's interesting. That's a good question. I tried to find the original. The background of the name. I have no idea. But I know the Lemon's Law. Same thing. When you buy a car, and if you have a same problem within your car, right, within 6 months, and then the dealer shop doesn't fix it, for 3 times, and then based on the lemon law, they have to replace the car with a brand new car. So if it was same problem, 3 times within 6 months, and then you will get a new car based on lemon law. So same thing. So I just tried to find why they call it lemon law, but I couldn't find. Yeah, I think there must be some historic story, but I couldn't find it. I failed to. Yeah. To be honest. So, do you have any religious issues or expression issue against First Amendment?